I want to welcome you to week number 2 of the lawyers getting more referrals and thus obviously getting more clients. We're going to talk about the program and some of the things that you'll be doing over again. And I've changed some things around, so uh, I'm not going to go into depth right now about some of those things, but I will as we go forward with this particular presentation. But I think you're going to find that as we go forward, you're beginning to see what we're trying to develop here. And I'm going to comment more on that as we go forward. I want to keep this a little bit short because I really want to get into the meat of the program. So um, let's get started. And I want to talk about first of all the tracking worksheet. This is the tracking worksheet for week 2, obviously. And if you haven't already done so, I would hope that you would watch the time productivity. I call it a webinar, and I did it as a webinar, but it's a video that you can watch. And then I want to talk about some of these daily items, and we're going to do an in-depth dive on some of these. But you'll see the daily, weekly actions, and you'll obviously notice that some of them are the same as they were in the first week. One of the things I didn't talk about in the first week is the keeping a time log. And when I say keeping a time log, here's what I mean. I want you to kind of keep track of the interruptions during the day to see how much time you really, and I don't want to say it being crude about it, but how much time do you really waste during the day? Somebody comes into your office and you talk about last night's hockey game or you talk about the weekend's football game or whatever. So you spend 15 minutes here and 20 minutes there and 15 minutes here and even going to lunch. And now I know you got to eat, so I don't really count that as wasting time. But keep a note of how much time during the day, from when you get to the office until you leave, how much time you were not productive. I don't want you to do billable time and all that. I just want the time that you were not productive. And I just want to see how that adds up for you because I think it might be an eye opener. And then we're going to talk about some of these other items in more in depth as we go along. But in any event, this is going to be your tracking worksheet, and you'll get it as a PDF uh, in the in the email that I sent. It's already there. So we're going to talk about that and some other things as we go further into this. As I have talked about before, the reason that this program really works is the tracking worksheet and also you're being held accountable. Now, let me share with you and if you decide to come on the following 5 weeks, the next 5 week part of the program, here's how I'm going to hold you accountable. I've set up a program where we can schedule a time, a 30-minute time period where you and I can have an individual conversation about what you're doing, what has gone well for you, what hasn't worked, things of this nature. Now, these are 30-minute sessions that you'll go on the program and see exactly what time I have available, and you can put your name, if you will, into that particular slot, and we'll have a conversation. Now, if we need more than 30 minutes during a particular week, then certainly we will make time for that. But for now, I just want you to know that I am going to be available, and this is how you're going to be able to contact me. And this is how we're going to hold each other accountable. You're going to hold me accountable for delivering what I'm telling you I'm going to deliver, and I'm going to hold you accountable for doing what I ask you to do. What I want to do right now is talk a little bit more about the tracking worksheet for this week number 2. And you'll see that we have some of the same items: plan your day the night before, write your daily goals, write in a journal, and we're going to talk about those in a little more detail. And I hope that you found that at least started to do some of those things. I know in my own experience and in the experience of most of the people that have been on this program, it takes a little bit of time to get going. You might do it one day, you forget about it the next day, you get back to it, that type of thing. But the bottom line is you started, and it'll get easier for you. Trust me, as you start doing these things, you'll remember to do them, and they'll seem a lot easier. One of the things that I mentioned a little bit and we're going to be changing a little bit, is listen or read each day. And I going to go in more depth about that, but I think you'll like what I'm going to talk about from that standpoint. I'm not going to have you listen or read an hour a day, but I'm going to have you listen or read and give you the information on that when we get into the specific items a little bit later. Um, and the same thing with reconnect with your past clients, connect with current clients, and add referrals to your referrals to your voicemail. And I obviously will talk much greater detail about that particular aspect. No, you're not really seeing double. I added this slide in, which is obviously a copy of the slide you just saw, because I wanted to add a couple of other things to this. And one of the things I want to talk about, that item number 8, where it says add referrals to your voicemail. Here's simply what I mean by that. And most people do not know that you want referrals. Now, other attorneys know you want referrals, but the general public doesn't know. And that's the same with other small business owners too. So, and lawyers, and again, other small businesses owners are reluctant to ask for referrals. So, this is a way that you can set the mindset of your clients, if you will, that you want referrals. And it's simple. It takes you about 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes to put it on your outgoing voicemail, but it goes something like this after you introduce yourself and I'm not available, etc. You say something like, by the way, if you were referred, please let me know who referred you so that I might thank them. And the reason for that is now you've started, when somebody calls your office, a brand new potential client or a other client of yours or past client or whatever, when they call your office, they're going to hear this message and they're going to think referrals. And I've actually had people say, Jim, I put that on my voicemail, and I've had people come in and say, or talk to me and say, Jim, they didn't even know that I wanted referrals. So this worked exceptionally well, and it's something you can do in 3 minutes. It doesn't cost you a nickel. So go ahead and do that. The other thing, we're going to talk about reconnecting with past clients and connecting with current clients, and we're going to talk a lot more in detail on that. But I want you to understand something. I didn't put any numbers in there because I don't know how many clients, past clients, present clients that you have. But here is the thing: when you come on the program we're going to do after this 2 week program, or this 2 weeks, if you decide that you want to take the program, I will be interviewing you to find out what your present situation is. You may tell me that you've got 45 clients and you don't know which ones that you want to start off with, or you may tell me you only have 3 clients. So the bottom line is, I am going to be personally talking with you, finding out what you need, and what we do in this program too. I get you going initially, which is what we have been doing, but then I'm going to find out what you really need, where I can help you, what is going to be the most significant thing I can do for you in the 5 weeks that follow this particular program. So I just wanted to mention that, and we're going to go on to talking more about the individual items, and we'll get to those. But I just wanted to clarify that. I just want to touch on this briefly: the planning your day the night before, um, and why is that so important? And I mentioned that in the previous talk that I gave, about why it's so important for attorneys, especially, to plan your day the night before, because basically we are crisis managers and we get to the office and we say, okay, we're going to go plan the day as we get, or when we get to the office, and all hell breaks loose. We never get to plan the day, and that's the way things happen. Uh, you know it, I know it. Being a trial lawyer, I know I could never do it, and I wish I would have known about this back when I was actually practicing law. It would have saved me probably a lot of time, a lot of grief. But if you sit down and you plan your day the night before, you sit down, and if you watch the time productivity um, session that I did, that'll give you a much better idea of why you want to plan your day the night before and how you can go ahead and do that. So, if you have any questions on planning your day the night before, please shoot me an email. But again, it's something new to you. You haven't done it before, but every night take 15 minutes and just sit down. Or maybe the better thing to do is to plan your next day at the end of the day. In other words, sit down at the end of the day and plan for the things that you know you have to get done tomorrow. And even use a calendar to do that. Black out time for yourself that you're going to do certain things within this time block. The people that I talk to and who have mentored me and taught me certain things have all said if you block out time for yourself, you're going to get a lot more done. In other words, hey, we make appointments for everybody else, right? Why don't we make an appointment for ourselves and set certain things up that we have to do the next day and block that out. It might be an hour that we block out, it might be a half hour we block out, or whatever it happens to be. And then when we get to the office and all hell breaks loose, we then have a way to get back to where we needed to be. And we can say, okay, we didn't get to these certain things, but there are other important things. So what can I move up the list, if you will, and maybe move some of the things to the next day. So that's what we're really talking about here. And again, this takes time. You're not going to get this all of a sudden. It's just going to be crystal clear to you, and you're going to, all of a sudden find that, boy, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. No, it takes time, but don't give up on it because it really does work. I hope that this past week some of you have started keeping a journal. And again, it does not have to be a 3 or 4 page journal. You can do one line, one sentence a day. If something happened that happens that during the day that you want to share with yourself, and remember, I don't mean share with yourself in that way, but remember that certain things happen. Hey, I said something to the judge and the judge liked it, or I said something to a client, I got the client to commit to, you know, uh, retaining me, or I said something to the client and yeah, I kind of blew it. Just little things. And so at the end of the week, you can go back and review what was good, what you did well, what you should have done differently, what you could do better. And again, it's not that you're going to share this journal with everyone. Now, I have had clients, quite frankly, that they've started out and they really didn't want to do it, and all of a sudden they started out with a couple of sentences, and pretty soon they were writing a whole page. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But I really want you to just do maybe a sentence or two each day. Start out that way and see how it works for you. I want to talk just a little bit about this setting goals, and you have and I sent this to you before, and you have it also in this email that I sent along with this particular talk on what we're going to be doing. Brian Tracy's method for setting goals. And I've had a couple people that started this past week kind of doing that. They didn't quite get the full impact of it, but kind of towards Wednesday and Thursday, they were getting and seeing how this might work for them. So just read Brian Tracy's his plan for setting goals and sit down and each day pick, sometimes it's hard to pick 10 goals. So pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. And then as you get going in this, you're going to be up to 10, and sometimes you may even pick more. But as you develop this pattern, you're going to find what your true goals are. It may take a week, it may take a month to find your true goals, but you're going to start. And like I said, uh, most people never set goals. It has been proven that 90% of the business people, lawyers, whatever you want to, category they would in, do not set goals. So if you're setting goals for yourself, you're way ahead of the game. And I think you're going to find that when you start setting goals like this, you're going to be much more prone to getting clients. And you'll see how this all really comes together. I know some of you are saying, well, what does this have to do with getting more clients? So we're going to get into that, but you've got to build that foundation. I have somewhat changed my mind on having you read or listen an hour a day. And I want to substitute it with this, and I want to see how it is going to work out. What I would like you to do is I still want you to listen or read, but it doesn't have to be an hour a day. It could be 5 or 10 minutes a day. I've done podcasts before where I've talked about different things with regard to what attorneys should look for, what attorneys should be doing. I've done a blog, and I'll probably insert those, every morning so that you'll have that. You can listen to it. It'll take you probably no more than 5 minutes to 10 minutes to listen to or read. And I also have uh, a great number of people that send me information on different things that attorneys need to be aware of. And I'll put that in the form of a blog, or I'll sometimes may even send the total article. But I want to see how this is going to work out. But I promise you, it probably will not take you more than 5 minutes to listen or to read to what I'm going to put out every day. And I want to see how this works because as I go along, I'll be honest with you, I change the program, I add things, I take things away, and most of what I take away or put in come from other folks who, especially attorneys, who give me ideas and say, Jim, did you ever think about doing it this way or doing this way? And so this is a brand new thing, and so I hope that you will let me know how it works. Well, I'm going to spend quite a bit of time talking about this. And the last week, I have had you basically listing your current clients and also your past clients. And again, the numbers. Um, I wanted you to kind of have about 15 of both current clients and past clients. But if you have more, that's perfectly fine. But for right now, the number is right around 15. It seems to work best, especially when you're starting this program. And I know some of you are new attorneys or fairly young attorneys in practice, and you may not have that number of clients, so you do the number of clients that you do have. But here's what we're going to do, and this is a key to what we're going to be doing throughout this entire program, throughout this entire course, is we are going to have you uh, develop a much stronger relationship with your current clients, and we're going to reconnect you with your past clients so that you can then develop a much stronger relationship. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about current clients. And when I say current clients, some of you may have a client that you do one matter for, and they're out the door and you won't see them again. So they basically somewhat become past clients. And there's some of you who have clients that you have an ongoing matter, especially if you're doing litigation, that you have an ongoing matter with them. So I want to make sure that you are keeping in touch with those clients on a regular basis. The clients that are, your current clients, um, you need to also stay in touch with because they want to hear from you. And I'm not talking just sending them a bill. I'm talking about, and we'll talk about some of the things that you can do, but I'm talking about letting them know that you still love them, that you're still out there for them. Sending them a note, and we're going to talk about some of these things in a greater detail. That's why I wanted you to drill down on some of these things. But maybe it's sending them a birthday card. Maybe it's sending them a congratulations card on the fact that one of their children graduated from college or high school or whatever the case may be. The more you know about your clients, the more times you can contact them and not contact them in a salesy manner. And we're going to not just this week, this coming week, but in future weeks, if you're on a program, we're going to talk about how you go about contacting them without being salesy. One of the things that I want my clients to do is to contact their clients, both current clients and past clients, at least once a month. Now, I know you're going to go, wow, that sounds like an awful lot. But if you think about it, it isn't because you have, say, well, we got Thanksgiving coming up. I don't want you to do Christmas. Everybody does that. You got New Year's. You got Valentine's. Uh, you may have a client that's, Irish. That's the other thing is I want you to understand you're going to contact them or send them a birthday card, send a spouse a birthday card. When something significant happens in their life, you can catch and send them something. So yeah, like on Thanksgiving, you're going to send out a bunch of Thanksgiving cards, and uh, if you're on the program that we're going to do, after this week, we're going to talk about how to send those Thanksgiving cards and what you should say. Uh, this is crucial that you stay in touch with your current clients. And again, like I said, when I'm talking to current clients, you may not see them once a month. So they're almost past clients in some respects, but that's why I kind of differentiated a little bit between current clients and past clients. Now, with your past clients, and I did a blog, oh, I don't know, a month or two ago, talking about why do you abandon your clients? And this is what so many attorneys, and not just attorneys, but small business owners do all the time. They spend money, they work hard, they get a client in, they do a great job for the client. The client loves them, and guess what? The client says, "Hey, I'm going to refer everybody I can to you." And you know what happens? After that client walks out the door after about a month, they forget all about you, especially if they meet another attorney that can help them in the same area that you did. So you want to be able to say, you know, I want to stay top of the mind with these past clients, these clients that walk out the door, so that they remember you. When something comes up that they could refer you, you are on their mind. They're top of the mind. How many times somebody the other day asked me something, Jim, do you know somebody that does this? And I certainly do, but guess what? I couldn't remember at the time. So, and then after the conversation got going, and I said, well, let me go back in and I'll check and I'll send you an email on someone I know, the plumber, I think it was, that can help you, that I was very pleased with. But, when somebody asks you right away, do you know somebody that does this? Sometimes our minds go blank, So we're going to and really teach you how to reconnect with some of these clients. And possibly the easiest way to connect with the clients is, and one of the things again, I hate using that phrase, but it's so true. We are going to show you how you can write a nice note to your clients. Hey John, haven't seen you in a while, or hey John, I hope everything's going well for you. Nothing salesy. Stay away. Don't even put your business card in there. Just how you doing? Just wanted to, catch up. We haven't talked in a couple of months, and just wanted to see how you're doing. And you know what? Here's the thing. I want you to think about this. How many of you have ever gotten a handwritten note from someone? I would bet very few of you have. People don't do that anymore. They send an email. Hey, how you doing? I don't want you even thinking about doing emails. I want a handwritten note or handwritten card. Um, I want you to handwrite out the envelope, and I want a commemorative stamp on it. And we'll talk about all the ins and outs of why I want you to do that. But you will be remembered when you do that. People don't get that anymore. They don't get a handwritten note. They don't get a thank you note. They don't get any kind of card in the mail. If they get a Christmas card or any other type of card, it's usually pre-printed, and somebody goes out and buys them in bulk and sends them out. And we wish you a Merry Christmas, and the law firm of blah 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 blah. That type of thing. You don't want to do that. You want to be personal. You want to personalize it. Um, we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and if you're on the program, after this week, and you're on the next 5 week program, that's one of the things we're going to do is talk about how you can send Thanksgiving cards. And I will tell you this, it works. I have had clients, in fact, I had one client in particular that hadn't. She basically was a financial planner. She wasn't an attorney, and she moved out of the area where she was working, and she had had contact with some of her previous clients in a couple of years. She sent them a Thanksgiving card, thinking of you at Thanksgiving, hand wrote it out, and could write whatever she wanted, not just just thinking of you, but if they something special or something of that nature, you can include that. Well, she sent out about 100 cards, and I think, and this goes back a ways, I think she got 5 or 10 responses, and of those 5 and 10 responses became her best clients, and she doubled her income for that particular year at the end of the year. So I mean, she it really worked for her, and it works for everybody. You just have to do it, and this is the problem. Most people don't do it. So this is where I'm going with this. And again, I don't want to belabor the point, but we're going to talk about getting back in touch with your current clients and your past clients, and we will be doing this throughout this coming week. I'll be sending you information, things that you can do as far as getting in touch. I want you to be thinking about this, but I also want you to be thinking about this. Who are your current clients and even your past clients who could become very good referral sources for you? You know, most attorneys never think about, okay, I did something for this client, and they never think about, well, let me follow up with this client, and possibly he loved me, he thought I was the greatest. How can that client become a good referral source? And I'm going to share some of the things that I think you can do with some of these clients that might be very good referral sources. One of my favorite things, and I'll put this out, and I've done it before, is I would like to have you become the family attorney, not a family law attorney, but the family attorney. So I'm going to, do a separate slide or a separate presentation on that because I think that is one of the absolute best ways that you can get new clients, new business from your existing clients or even your past clients. So I hope that you go into this coming week with some of those thoughts in mind, and I'll be sharing some things, and we're going to get a little bit more involved and as the week goes on because as I said before, each day you're going to do something different. You're going to learn something new, and you're going to start developing it. And I hope you'll, see where the program will take you, see that it's beneficial for you. And again, if it's not working for you, then let me know why you're having a problem. If I can fix it, that's fine. If I can't fix it, oh, I'm sorry about that. But I know this program that I teach works, and you just have to be attuned to getting the job done. You're going to do a lot of the work yourself. I'm here to help you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to hold you accountable. But the things I put out, you have to be doing yourself. Again, this is the tracking worksheet for week 2, and I just want to touch base on just a couple of things that I may not have mentioned before. Obviously, as you do one of the exercises, plan the day the night before, write goals, you check it off, and that type of thing. Now, here's the thing with reconnect with past clients and connect with current clients. We're going to be, I'll be sending you some more information on Monday to get you going into reconnecting with your past clients and connecting with your current clients. But what I'd like you to do over the weekend is go out and buy some nice note cards, something that very generic, something you can write a nice note to somebody in. And we'll talk about how you can use those, but just something very generic. I want you to go to the post office and get some stamps. Uh, I don't know how many clients you're going to, past clients you're going to work with or current clients you're going to work with as far as sending out these notes, but like I had said before, I would like you to do about 15. But again, whatever you feel comfortable doing is fine to start off. And on Monday, you'll get an email from me, and I will talk about how I want you to use these cards as far as connecting uh, and reconnecting. So please, watch for the email on Monday. I don't want to go into too much detail right now, but watch for it on Monday because then we're going to be starting the new week on that Tuesday. So that's why you'll get this on Monday and a few other things I'll be sharing with you. I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. If you want to continue after this coming week, the 5 weeks after that, and obviously the paying 5 weeks, if you will, um, if you get a partner, an accountability partner, the fee for that partner will be half of what you're paying, or you guys can figure out what you're going to pay and how you're going to work that out. But again, I can do like I've said before, I can do 15 people. That's my max. But if I have 4 or 5 people to bring in partners, then I can up it to 20 because a partner, when somebody has a partner, it makes it a lot easier for me because I'm doing two at once, and I've got both partners calling in, and we got both partners working on the same thing. So it makes it a heck of a lot easier on me, and it also will make it a heck of a lot easier on you. So that's why I'm offering that. Again, the the key to success is not the ideas and the things I've put out here. It is you're actually doing these things. You have got to take the action and get these things done. And if you don't, just listening to me or thinking about it, it isn't going to work. You have to actually do some of the action items. And when I say some, here's what I'm talking about. I know in the first week, some of you got some of the things done and some you didn't get done. The second week, you'll probably do a little bit better. And as you go through the program, especially when I'm having a session with you, a counseling session, uh, or one of the sessions that we will be doing for 30 minutes each week, uh, you're going to do much better because I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. So if you're prepared to have me hold your feet to the fire um, and aren't afraid of that, and I promise I'll be nice, I will, be glad to help you in any way I can to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in this program. I want to, first of all, thank you for taking the time to listen. And I hope that this past week you found it valuable to start. And I know probably you're still questioning the value of it because you're just starting it, and certain things will be valuable to you, and you probably haven't seen the total picture, which usually takes about 2 or 3 weeks before you really uh, start seeing the actual results. I know I've had some emails from some attorneys who have basically said, this has got me focused, and that's the key. This has got me focused on doing some of the things that I need to be doing. Um, I don't have any great success stories to tell you that somebody sent me an email saying they got 5 new clients because they were on the program last week. That isn't going to happen. It's a process. It's going to take time. I think the earliest someone ever got clients taking the program was in the third or fourth week. I don't really remember, but it's not going to happen overnight. And that's not to say it couldn't happen overnight. You could, send out one nice letter or email, not an email, but a note to a client, and you might find out that that client has another project they want you to work on, or has another case, or has a referral for you. That may happen. It may not happen. Usually, obviously, it takes a little bit of time to get things rolling, but it'll happen if you stay on the program. I do want to let you know that I only, as I've mentioned before, I can only do 15 people on the program. And once that program fills up, I will have to, if put you on a waiting list, I guess, because eventually there's some things people sign up and then something comes up a week later and they can't go forward, and sometimes there's an opening. But generally speaking, the courses fill up. I've gotten 5 or 6, I guess, people who have said they're interested in taking the course. If you are interested in taking the course, just send me an email. You're not committing to anything. I just want to know that you're interested, and we'll talk if you're interested. Because here's the thing, I want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for the course, and I'm going to be a good fit for you, and you're going to be a good fit for me. So there's some questions that I will want to ask you. So it's just not a matter of just signing up and saying, okay, I want to be on it, and I automatically put you on it. It's not a stringent type thing, but it's like, okay, tell me why you want to take the course. Tell me what you're going to get out of it. Tell me what you've done so far, and that type of thing. So I know you're really committed to going forward. Now, I said 15 people. If you come to me and say, Jim, I've got an accountability partner, obviously I can go, up to 20 people, that additional 5. But that's going to be it. This is the last course I'm going to do for the year. I'm going to be taking the rest of the year off after this next 5 weeks, or actually 6 weeks next week, and then 5 weeks thereafter. And I'm just going to goof off, relax, and have some fun, and enjoy the cold weather, if you will. But in any event, um, any questions, anything I can do, any questions I can answer, anything I can do, like I said, to help you, shoot me an email, and we'll be in touch.